Hey guys, DocSauce here, and I wanted to go ahead and do a video in response to a question that I received in the comments. And it's a great question. It was regarding what exactly are lore moments. So before I get into detail about that, I want to talk a little bit more about a couple of warnings and symbols you're going to see on the screen before a lore moment happens. So the first thing you're going to see is some text, and the text will always come up a couple seconds before it jumps into the lore, and it says lore moment brought to you by, and it's going to have either my name or one of your guys' names there, whoever suggested it, and then it will be there for a couple seconds and then it'll go away. And the reason for that is because in case you decide you actually don't want to watch the lore, you can skip it or you can stop the video at that time. The other thing is you're going to see is this symbol. And this symbol will always be in the top right corner of your screen blinking while the lore is going on. So once it's gone or it stops blinking, you'll know that the lore moment is over. Now, what exactly are lore moments? That is the question that I had received. So essentially, pretty much to sum it up, they are just little stories that I've put together, either from your feedback or some ideas that I have come up with that gives our character a little bit more depth. And it could be anything. Someone asks, what exactly can it be? It could be anything in the past, the present, the future, a different parallel universe, anything that we want. We could do whatever we want in terms of providing more depth to our character. It can also be a little bit more in regards to the lore of the Elder Scrolls, because I know a lot of people like the lore of Elder Scrolls and don't have a lot of time to actually read it. So this is our way of putting a fun spin on it. We can go a little bit more detail in regards to the lore of like the Sigic Order. Something I didn't know about. I played some of the games and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, what's the Sigic Order? It's stuff we can go into a little more in regards to the different eras, because there's multiple eras within the Elder Scrolls, and some of the games only encompass one era and don't go into many different eras. There's like 5 different eras. Who knew, right? We can create our own characters in the Elder Scrolls universe. We can, as long as it makes sense, and we can traverse our story across multiple different Elder Scrolls games. We don't have to be bound just to the Oblivion. We can take our character into Skyrim, we can take our character into Morrowind, and even into the online game that's coming out. So essentially that's going to be lore moments in a nutshell. It's just a way for us to provide more character detail in regards to, what exactly is their past, where we're going with it, what's going on now, so that we don't do just the normal playthrough, because I'm pretty sure you've watched many Elder Scrolls playthroughs and they're almost essentially the same. But this is going to be our different spin on it, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, what I want to do is also recap the first lore moment that we had in episode 8. So in this one, what you found is that Doc has just acquired his staff. And then as soon as he acquires his staff, he passes out. And then he comes to in a very unfamiliar location. Now, is he awake? Is he asleep? You don't know. So, and the other thing is the staff starts to speak to him and mentions some questionable things like, that's the first time you've dropped me. What do you mean that's the first time you dropped me? The staff also mentions a charm that's been placed on Doc by a very questionable, not known female character, and it's more powerful than the staff thought. So those are a couple of things like, wait, what do you mean? This is the first time Doc is acquiring you, and now you're mentioning first time that he's been dropped, this female character. So those are those things right there that kind of lead to like, wait, what? A little bit more we got to go into in depth with that. And the staff also mentions a place called the Pond of Foresight if Doc wants to know more about his past, which leads Doc to believe, what do you mean? Wait, why should I trust you? How do you know this stuff about me? So there's a couple of new questions in the staff, and that's where it kind of ends. Now, for our 2 characters so far, our main character Doc, and the idea behind this character was to create him as a little bit more apprehensive. Right now he's a little bit more ignorant to magic. Definitely revenge is the driving factor for wanting to learn magic, because as you know, his parents were killed. They were killed, and Doc was saved by some mysterious man. The other thing that I kind of went off with this character is that he's more sophisticated. He's not really trusting of everybody. He's a little bit more reserved and to himself. And he's not a pushover. So that's kind of where we're at right now with Doc. He's not going to be a pushover. I know in the first lore moments, it seemed like he was a little bit like, whoa, the staff, what's going on with this staff? I think it's just because he's a little ignorant right now to magic, and he is not familiar with this kind of stuff. Now the staff, the idea behind the staff was for him to bring a little bit more of a comedic commentary, some humor to the game and to the playthrough, because he's a little bit witty, you know, he has these comebacks that's kind of funny, but he's a little bit suspicious, which makes him intriguing. You know, he's more of a guns blazing, let's solve this right now kind of deal. And the other thing is, does the staff have ulterior motives? Those are some things right now. That's all we know. Now, where do you come into play with this is you guys can help me out with suggestions. So if you have a lore moment suggestion, please feel free to respond in the comments below. However, make sure you keep 3 things in mind. The first thing is that it has to fit within the Elder Scrolls universe. That's pretty much the number one thing, is it has to fit, it has to make sense, because there are a lot of lore buffs out there who will call our shenanigans. Nope, that doesn't make sense. So what I've been doing is very carefully, I've been reading up on the lore, seeing if this makes sense, and if it fits, then great, I put it in. If it doesn't, and you guys catch something that makes sense, please let me know. The second thing is that it cannot alter any major events. And what I mean by that is we can't change the outcome of civil wars, we can't change the outcome of people who have died in the game, because this is, again, the lore that Bethesda and all those guys have created, and it's great. And the last thing is, I need to be able to edit this in videos. It can't be something crazy, elaborate, extreme. It has to be able to be manageable. So essentially that's it. You know, I bring this to you guys as, you know, our way and our little spin of kind of providing a little more fun in this playthrough. So if you guys have any ideas or suggestions, please leave a comment below. And thank you so much.